Hello lovelies, I'm Cameron. Welcome to my channel and to my office, my makeup artist office. I'm so happy you're here today and I'm really excited for today's video. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite, absolute all-time favorite tips and tricks that I picked up pretty early on in my experience as a makeup artist. Every other makeup artist that I know does this and it's game-changing. It's really simple, but it makes things so much easier. We're talking applying lipstick with a brush. This tip is great for all different skill levels. It helps you achieve all different kind of lip looks, whether you want really a nice blotted diffuse look or you want something more crisp and sharp, whether you want a nude lip or a dark heavy bold lip. It really just makes things easier across the board. This is perfect. It gives you the right amount of control and you can build really nice even layers and it's just perfect. I'm going to show you how I did this clean everyday lip. Let's get started. All right, first thing, let's figure out what kind of brush is going to work best. I recommend using one that looks something like one of these. Something that is short bristles, is dense and flat. This one is my favorite for lips and it's the Morphe M421. Next up, let's talk about lip balm. I have one on right now and it's one of the more thick, glossy finishes and textures. And that's something to keep in mind because you want to keep your lips hydrated, especially if you're wearing maybe a more matte or drier lip color. But just know that if you have something glossy and hydrating underneath, it's going to change the texture and the color payoff of the color that you actually put on top. It's definitely going to affect the consistency, it's going to sheer it out a little bit, and ultimately it's just going to make it less long wearing, so just keep that in mind. Before I get started, I'm going to blot the excess balm off my lips so that they're hydrated without any extra texture that could affect the lipstick I put on top. And if you want, before we actually get to applying the lip color, you can use a concealer or whatever is left on your concealer brush or sponge, whatever you use, and just kind of cancel out the color on your lips. This works well if you have very pigmented lips or if you just want to almost prime your lips so that the lipstick that you put on top is going to be that much more intense and opaque and give you some oomph. I don't always do this, but I'm going to do it today just because. It just helps to neutralize any color that's already in your lips so that the lip color that you put on top, whether it's sheer or matte, doesn't have to compete or blend with other colors and it can be its own true self. We're going to let it shine. All right, now we're going to get up close and personal for the rest of this. Hey. The lip color I'm using today is from Laura Mercier. It's called Brune Naturel. To get the first bit of color on my lips, I'm going to take the bullet directly to the center of my lips. You can use your brush at this point, or you can use your bullet. It doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you. It clearly doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be there. So this is where your brush comes in. Get your brush and start at the edge of the lipstick that you applied in the center. Am I in the frame? Let me get closer. Hey. Blend the color from the center of your lips with your brush close to the outer edge without getting too close. You just want to thin the color out and make it a nice even layer. I think the beauty of the brush technique is that you have a lot more control. You can get nice thin even layers and you can build your coverage and your depth as you go. And then, especially if your bullet is not necessarily as sharp as it once was, it's changed shape as you use it, this gives you the ability to get in the nooks and crannies that you need to and redefine and create the shape that you need without needing a lip liner. Now we're going to build another layer of color on top of this one. We're going to trace the same place closer to the inner part of the mouth. We'll get to the outer corners and the definition next. When you're using a brush, slow and steady wins the race, so take your time, enjoy it, and feel free to just take a pause when you go from top lip to bottom lip, from left side to right side, just to check in and make sure your layers are where you want them and that you have nice clean lines, although we're about to get into the lining now. Take your lipstick and your brush and saturate both sides. The key to the definition of the perimeter of your mouth, the liner basically, is keeping your brush flat, almost at a 45-degree angle. If you have it more perpendicular, 90-degree angle, you're more prone to adding a little too much pressure and you're more likely to remove the lipstick than apply it. And so that makes it a little muddy and messy, so keep it closer to your lip and flatter. I'm going to start with my top lip at my arches and I like to stabilize my lips by going like this. This is the time to either follow the natural contour of your lips or get creative and overline a little bit. I'm kind of doing both. To ensure nice and smooth lines, I'm stabilizing my hand and my brush by anchoring my pinky on my chin, and that's giving me a lot more control. You'll notice it's especially important to have your brush on more of a 45-degree angle, almost more flat to your lip when you're doing your bottom lip, because you want to have the outermost edge of the brush line up with the outermost edge of your lip. That way you can define the edges while also applying to the middle of your lip, and you just kill two birds with one stone. Applying a little more color to the center, I want it to be a little bit darker, and doing a slight smush. You don't want to smush too hard, and you don't want to rub your lips all the way across your face like "Wah," because you're just smudging your makeup all over your face, and that's not what we're trying to do here. So keep that in mind. Light pups, puckers, pats, this. Using the brush to even out that layer. Going all the way to the outer edge. Don't hush, cut, close, This lipstick is a little more on the creamy side. I want it to be a touch more matte, so I'm just going to blot it really quickly. Staying inside the lines. You don't want to get the lipstick that you're picking up on your finger to accidentally go on the rest of your mouth. And that's it. Here we are. We've got our clean, defined, pretty lip. If you don't feel like you have it down pat just yet, it may feel a little uneven or maybe a line is a little wonky. It's all good. You can always go back and clean things up. So if you have a cotton swab or a clean brush, maybe like an angled eyeliner brush like this or a short flat brush like this, you can use a little bit of micellar water, some makeup remover, or even like your moisturizer, a primer. You can use something like that to go in and clean up the edges and redefine the lines. If you really need some extra backup, use your concealer or foundation to just reinforce the stark difference between your lip and your skin. And truly, practice makes perfect. Take your time with it and hopefully enjoy the process. Using longer, slower strokes is going to be better than shorter, faster ones. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I so greatly appreciate you, and I'm so grateful to be able to share the little tips and tricks that just make my life a little bit easier when I'm applying a makeup, and I really hope that this was able to help you in some way, shape, or form. So please let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Maybe you've tried this before, maybe you have questions, you want to know what brushes are going to work, or if you just maybe aren't sure about it. Let's chat either way. I so look forward to talking with you, and thank you so much to everybody who's subscribed already. If you're not, please do. It means the world. And that's it. I'll see you next time. Love you.